Welcome to CB Off-Road Adventures. Today we're taking you to two hidden gems less than an hour outside of Phoenix, Arizona. Today we start off on the Highway 74 and go north towards Scorpion Bay Marina. If you're lucky, you may even get a greeting by the cutest welcoming committee ever. These wild burros roam the Lake Pleasant Recreational area, and we both saw and heard from these cuties multiple times throughout our adventure today.
You may have heard of or even been to Lake Pleasant, but some of the really good stuff in this area is just off the beaten path a bit. There are so many amazing trails out this way that you can explore, but today we took Castle Hot Springs Road to Cow Creek Road toward our first destination, Old China Dam. I wish videos and pictures did this hill justice. There are parts of the ascent where all you can see in front of you is your hood. While it is very fun to claim this hill, if you don't have four-wheel drive, there is a bypass that takes you around this obstacle. If you do have four-wheel drive, do it. It's exciting.
While our destination today is not the lake itself, Lake Pleasant Recreational Area is a beautiful location to adventure in year-round. It is comprised around a man-made water reservoir and is part of a 23,000-acre recreational area perfect for hiking, camping, boating, skiing, fishing, and our favorite, exploring. Take your time as you approach the last stretch of the trail for Old China Dam. There are loose rocks and shelf sections that you should traverse with caution.
Our destination, Old China Dam, is actually made up of two dams, an upper dam, which is concrete, and a lower dam, which is constructed from stone. Humbug Creek flows through this area and is so lovely and calming. The creek's name is rumored to come from miners after they've mined in the area and could not find anything, so bah humbug. Despite how those miners might have felt, we were mesmerized by the sparkly sand and lively, babbling creek.
Just a short walk from the concrete portion, you're able to approach the lower China Dam. There is not much information on the history of China Dam online, but from what we've learned, it is most likely built in the late 1800s and is rumored that its name comes from the fact that it was constructed by Chinese workers. It is an impressive structure to look at. This area is no longer utilized for mining, so a hole was made at the base so that Humbug Creek could flow through once again to the lake. To the east of the dam is a hidden tunnel. We're not sure if this is a spillway or perhaps was used as a bypass to the other side of the mountains, but either way, it was exciting to explore.
We got back on the trail en route to Tule Homestead, our next destination. This stretch is a bit more technical. Four-wheel drive will be needed periodically from here on out. On this trail, you will cross Humbug Creek. This is frequently dry creek bed, but after rains, you may have to assess the running water before crossing. Take care and don't chance this crossing if it doesn't feel safe.
Along the way, be sure to watch out for many of the desert creatures native to this area, such as bald eagles, rattlesnakes, mule deer, javelina, and of course, wild burros. We like to note, it's not advisable to approach or feed any of these animals. Some burros are very used to humans and may seem tame, but keep in mind that these are wild animals and be cautious around our desert friends. This stretch is the best of both worlds, marrying a peaceful scenic drive with some fun, challenging obstacles. The obstacles got a bit more challenging the further you got on the trail. It helps to have a spotter with you if you are not experienced with this type of terrain.
the end of the trail, you will approach Tule Creek Riparian Management Area. This is the entrance to the Thule Homestead site. Just on the other side of this fence is something incredible, a long abandoned but still standing cabin. We've learned that Thule Homestead was likely built around the 1930s and was said to be owned by a Mr. Johnson. This deserted home in the middle of the desert is an interesting place to explore and provide a glimpse of just how Mr. Johnson lived so remotely. Was he lonely, or was it peaceful to live amongst nature on his own?
At this point, the homestead is in pretty bad shape, and the corrugated tin roof is almost completely removed from the home in several spots. It was fun walking around this home, exploring and thinking about its past life. It is said that Mr. Johnson was advised by the Lake Pleasant Development Committee that his home fell within the boundaries of Lake Pleasant and that the area would be underwater, thus forcing him from his home. Based on the water levels when the lake was filled, the boundaries seemed to come up short of this area. His home has been sitting abandoned ever since. If you look hard enough when exploring around this homestead, you will even see that the walls are made of concrete and cans. This process was most likely used to conserve concrete, but it was so interesting to see this technique was so strong and still standing today.
Just beyond the homestead, there are other structures that are fully collapsed. But if you walk a little further, you'll see the creek oasis. With the recent rain, the area was green and the creek was running. It was beautiful. We basked in the glorious weather and hunted for sparkly rocks. The last thing we saw on our way out was a tender grave site for the miner's faithful dog Pooch. This loving tribute is dated 1928 to 1938. Though Pooch was born almost a century ago, he's still touching lives as visitors leave him presents and stack rocks around his grave. Thank you so much for exploring with us today. If you'd like to see more of our adventures, be sure to subscribe and follow along.